What they do. This your boy DP.
This your girl T.
And we're the Geminis Gemz, representing for the Geminis across the world, giving our own Miami perspective.
For sure.
So you can follow us on all podcast platforms at Geminis Gemz.
Also follow us on Instagram, Geminis_Gems, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Geminis Gemz.
Hey, make sure you like, follow, you comment, and you subscribe. Yes. And make sure when you type it in, it's Geminis with the S, Gems with a Z. And what we do, T?
Drop them gems.
Drop them gems. What they do, y'all. How y'all doing out there?
What's going on?
So yeah, we back with another one.
Yes, and another one.
Yeah.
All right.
Back.
Yes.
So yeah, we're continuing the what is it, T?
What we doing?
Our series.
What we doing?
Our chapters.
Hey,
our
what
book.
is a good, healthy relationship?
Yes.
Like what it consists of?
Yes.
Like we're building these chapters for this book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, we're stepping in another room today.
Hello.
And that room, I think this is a little closet.
A little closet?
But it enters into a bigger room.
Hello.
Right?
I like that.
So I think this is a deeper room this week.
All right.
So yeah, we coming with the notion or the topic of knowing yourself, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
You ready?
Hey, we have no choice but to be ready. What was that?
You gotta be ready when you hear that sound.
Oh, like I'm like, dang, did I say something wrong?
No, that's for this one. So you can come back.
Okay, I'm about to say, dang. I was like, we just started.
I know.
I was like, okay. All right, stay
All
ready.
right. So yeah, I'm your boy DP.
All right.
This my girl T.
What's up?
And we Gemini Gems.
Yes.
That's Geminis with the S.
Yes.
That's Gems with the Z.
Z.
And what we do, T?
We drop them gems.
We drop them gems.
Listen, I'm over here smiling because they don't know like the behind the scene conversations, and I'm just having like a little replay. Just what we talked about recently.
What transpired.
Oh, what happened to me. But I'm just going to leave it right there.
Right.
This is crazy.
Right.
Listen, I don't mean to get off subject, but I have to let the people know what the hell I've been experiencing. Darn it.
No.
I can't tell them something.
No.
It has, oh my goodness.
No.
I wasn't going to be in details.
Yes, you was.
No, I wanted. Oh my goodness. All right.
Okay, this is a part of knowing yourself. Go ahead.
So, a friend of mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
They showed me what Twitter has. And I'm so outdated. But Twitter has porn on there. Did you know that? Like, people are selling themselves. Like, prostitution really is just a career. Like, I am flying in X, Y, and Z city and state. This is my fee.
Wow.
And hit me up in my DM. I was like, where they do this at? Did you know about that? Like, real talk.
Not even.
Not even?
Not even.
Listen, there's a society. No judgment. I'm just being aware, and I wanted to share this. There's an industry where Twitter, like, they don't hide nothing. It is straight porn, videos, images, whatever. Hit me up. Like, it is like transactions going down. Okay?
Okay.
I just wanted to share that. I just want to really know if you knew about that.
No.
Nope. Okay.
Don't even care.
That is crazy.
But that's real though. I was telling my coworker today, I was like, yeah, there's societies within societies.
Yes.
There's circles within circles. There's groups within groups.
Wow.
Within groups. It's just you have to be a part of it to know that it's there. You feel me?
Right.
So yeah. So we're gonna come back to
all
it.
Right. Go ahead. Okay, I just wanted to share that. That's all.
That had nothing to do with
I know, but
knowing
it
yourself.
happened to me recently, though.
I guess you know that you not in tune to what's really going on out here.
I'm just looking, and I'm just like, I'm shaking my head like I'm not about it.
Yeah. So while we are entering
entering
this room
yes
of knowing yourself. How do we begin to explore this topic, T?
all right, so knowing yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was one, why don't I have this up? Okay, so basically realize that people tend to repeat the same patterns, learn in their families to react to the patterns in opposite ways.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what I took from that is basically some or most families have like family cycles.
Okay.
And all family cycles are not bad. You have some good too.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on how you have an angle with that family cycle. So for an example, what if your parents always fussing?
Okay.
And that's what you grew up like, confrontational, anger, like they just no calm conversation.
Wow.
So as the child that's watching it,
Mm-hmm.
you might try to be the child that, you know what, I just want to avoid the anger, so I'm gonna just be quiet.
Okay.
You know, so it depends on how the child might react to what they're seeing.
Right. So as a child,
Okay.
they may be quiet,
Right.
but when they get involved with someone,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they will basically exhibit what they have received, like, what they have seen. Because, sometimes your mindset will tell you, oh, I don't want to do that. And then you end up finding yourself actually doing it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I think Chris Brown said something about his dad being a drunkard. Right.
Okay.
And then it was one of those, I never want to find myself into, being a drunkard.
Right.
But then he ended up finding himself not adopting the drunkenness,
Okay.
but maybe have adopted, another habit
Okay.
from his dad.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely see where you're going with it.
Right.
And this is something that needs to be explored.
Right.
One thing I did put down was educational status. I remember when I was growing up, some dads, they never finished high school.
Okay.
So then the son never finished high school.
Okay.
Then the grandson never finished high school. It's like they call it a generational curse, but that's just a pattern that the three generations have kind of like just not even accomplished, but just never accomplished.
Gotcha.
So those are some, and then you have stories where, I'll be the first one of my family to graduate.
Gotcha.
Trying to turn that circle into something positive, that negative into a positive.
Right.
As well as I put on prison. The dad goes to prison, then the son goes to prison, then the grandson ends up being bad in school, showing the same pattern.
Right.
And I think while you want to keep yourself involved eventually with somebody, if you find yourself having to deal with that type of pattern, how do you turn it into a positive if it's a negative?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. What else you got?
So just to add with it, right? So say on the flip side, like I was stating, so if the child was in a, not to say abusive home, but the angry parents.
Yep.
And now they becoming more quiet.
You
but
can
what
even
if
use the abuse.
But abuse, right? But what if they go into the relationship being quiet and shy, and the other person now takes advantage of that person because they know that they do not talk. So now they're doing the opposite way. So either way that the child might take it, they have to, for me, just do the right way.
Right.
So don't, it all necessarily the opposite is not good or bad. It's just, I'm just using it as a scenario. Like now that I'm quiet, because I trying to do the opposite of what I've seen, but now I got into a relationship to where my significant other now is over talking me always. Because they know that, I just want to avoid it, so I'm going to be quiet. So how can we, or what advice can we give to that person who might think, let me do the opposite when it comes to being negative? How can we turn the negative to a positive?
Right. So with that scenario, and I like it actually because that scenario, that's when you have to learn how to be assertive. You know, as an individual, you don't want to go to 10, right?
Right.
So then you take the lesser role, but then the lesser role causes the person to bully the individual, right? Because they know that's a. But then you have to realize, and the first thing that came to mind was identify who you are in this dynamic, right? And once you identify who you are, oh, I'm the lesser person in it.
Right.
Okay, how can I build myself up? So let's say conversation 1, the first argument, right?
Right.
You took the lesser role. Once you ponder on it, you should say the next conversation when this particular thing is brought up, then I'm going to say something.
Yes.
And then you start to build yourself as the conversation. Because like you can have a debate with someone and they leave you speechless, right?
Right.
And it's good, right?
Gotcha.
To be defeated because you can go back to the drawing board.
Gotcha.
Right? And then you can come back and be ready for them the next time.
Yes.
So sometimes it's good to lose,
right?
You know, in order to win. You get what I'm saying in the situation. So as the conversations, as it gets to 13,
right?
You're not gonna reach the 10. You're gonna stay right there at the 5. You know how many sentences I'm gonna say.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like, cause I seen it.
Yes.
You know, with different
like
individuals. Like, it happened at my job. At first, the person was quiet.
Okay.
Then they, go and try to bully the person, get the person to do everything.
Right.
And then eventually that ceased. Because as the instances begin to take place, the person starts speaking up.
Hello.
And as time progressed,
right,
the individual just standing up on their own too.
Hello.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I believe in that type of growth, but you have to take it from first being aware,
right,
identify the issue,
what?
And then get ready for it when it comes.
Right.
You know, that little boy that was, that buddy keep bullying me, and then they just swing one time. They may lose the first battle.
Hello.
They may miss the first swing, but they may connect on the second one. So that's how you would have to process that that transition.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I just want people to be aware of, like, why are we having these conversations?
Right.
And because before, again, we point the fingers at anyone, we still have so much work that we need to do for ourselves.
Right.
And I guess, like you said, it's like a little closet door, because there's so many closet doors that we just want to keep bringing awareness to where, like, people can be like, I never thought of it that way, So that's what I brought up. And again, like you said, maybe sadly, if it's some form of additional, like, worse abuse, like, some people feel that that's what they supposed, that's what they're supposed to allow to happen to them, if it probably happened generations before, or if it's a family pattern.
Gotcha.
And so I just wish that we had, special guests to kind of dive into that heart of that wound that some people are still carrying from their childhood.
Now with the abuse.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And I know I'm not no expert.
No, we're not.
Right. So with the abuse, I believe, I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
Some people, they like it.
Okay.
And some people don't know how to get out of it.
I agree. Okay.
And you have to be very, very, very careful.
All right.
Because you may try to jump in and save them.
Okay.
And they may turn around and jump on you.
Got you.
Then you may come and save them.
Right.
And then they may say, okay, don't do this, but they really looking at you with their eyes telling you, hey, I need help. Right. So you have to, and that's on the outside looking in, right?
Gotcha.
That's me seeing that happen. Now, for a person that's involved in that situation, you have to realize that, like, what's enough?
Right.
should your eyeballs be hanging? And this is for the person that want out of it, not the person that likes it, right?
Gotcha.
So if the person it wants out of it, what's enough for you to get out of that situation?
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? So do you want your eyeballs? Is that's the time limit or the hole in the wall because he punched the wall? Because you ducked and he was punching at you,
Right.
or kicking you. You get what I'm saying? And also too, men are being abused. Maybe not physically so,
Okay.
but verbally so. What's enough? She's telling you good for nothing. You get what I'm saying?
Got
Or you whatever you can think of,
Right,
derogatory type languages.
I got you.
You get what I'm saying? To degrade a man.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Take his masculinity away from him. His
Yeah, right.
masculinity,
Mess up that ego. Disrespectful.
his
Right.
value.
I got
Okay,
you.
as a man, right? I
got
messed
you.
that up. All right.
It's all right.
Masculinity,
Okay.
value. Okay, away
Hello.
from him. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. So, what is enough?
What is
And
enough?
whenever it becomes enough, then you do something about it.
Gotcha.
You know,
agree.
and I would say this as an example, like a child. You know, a child will like keep enduring, but then they'll say, "Hey, listen, I can't do this no more." You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it's hurting. It's hurting me to beyond capacity that I can control. And I think that's where the person that wants out of that,
Gotcha.
they eventually has to, again, identify it, understand what that point is, and then do something about it.
Apply to it.
Right. You get what I'm saying?
got
So that's with the abuse. Now, yes, I'm not a professional, but I
Can
have
we add people to come on and do this with us?
if you
Yeah.
can find them.
Or even if a viewer watching be like, I might know someone, like send us a referrals.
Right.
Like that would be nice. But I didn't mean to
Right.
cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. What I was gonna add to was attitudes, attitude pattern. Because sometimes you can see with the woman, with the mom, the daughter has the same attitude.
Gotcha.
Because they're always watching their mamas. I said the reaction to emotions, and then I put the good, the bad, the sad, the fear, and the anger that are that we can learn from. So when we are faced with good, we know how to celebrate.
All right.
Right. When we faced with bad, we know how to be angry or show aggression.
Right.
Like you have some families, they're like, if it's the mom, the sister, the cousin, all of them can get together and put some rocks in the sock and make it happen.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Have a blade underneath their tongue.
Yeah.
They going Vaseline over their face.
What?
You get what I'm saying? Cousins, like dads, brothers, the cousins, they could get the strap. They can make it happen. You get what I'm saying? So
Hello.
they know how to ride. You feel me?
Okay.
So it's just learning how to handle different situations when they're sad, how to handle like a sad situation. So the reason for bringing this up was I think we have to learn that there's nothing new under the sun. Everybody is going to go through something, right? We all are going to go through things in life. Right? So we're going to face death with our loved ones.
Right.
We're going to face, let's say, disappointment with our loved ones.
Yes.
We're going to face just different obstacles with the people that we're close with.
Yes.
And what happens is, let's say we have offsprings or we have a companion, right? When we deal with these things, they want to see how we can handle it. If you handle it immaturely, that can messes up so the child would say, you know what? I need to act like that when I'm faced with this type of obstacle. So I'm gonna use as an example. Some people, when they face with, let's say a loved one passes away, they are out of control. I've seen it at funerals. Like out of control, like just falling all over the place, crying all over the place. And I'm not going to tell a person how to handle that.
Right.
But there's a time and a place for everything.
Hello.
So we're in the front, and the person that was the closest ain't even acting up. But the person that is just acting all crazy, the child is looking at that.
Right.
Their mate is looking at that. And then they're saying, well, shoot, I should act that way too. Or her cousin is acting, seeing that going on. And they say, I can act that way too. So when they grow up when they grow up and face that situation, they feel like they should handle that situation
the same way what they've been seeing.
And I think that's one thing we have to like really pay attention to.
Right.
Like how we handle things. And I'm not going to say that everyone's going to handle it the best way.
Right.
We hope that, right? But it's not going to happen But can we have a conversation?
Thank you.
Can we
want
to mimic
I love that.
someone like, hey, listen, like I remember we had a pastor in my family and I would tell them, because I used to work for a funeral home, that, this is what the funeral home says. Right. So let's represent the family well. Okay. I've heard families say that to their loved ones. And the reason why I use death is because that's something that's that a lot of people don't know how to deal with. Right. I agree. And I'm not saying I'm the best, because I may act up. Right. Okay. But I have seen people, when I thought they was going to act up, they didn't. They didn't. And the ones I thought was going to act, the one that wasn't going to act up, they the ones that was all on the floor underneath the pew. Yeah. Rolling. Rolling. Wow. With their hand out looking for the napkin. No. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy, but this is how it goes.
That's how it goes.
And so let's say, since we're in this room, if I'm looking at my parents handle it a certain way, if I'm in a relationship with a person, they got to understand, how do I handle this person when they're dealing with this situation? Okay. And when that happens, I think that's when we can have that conversation as me and my mate. Babe, if you faced with death, what is that? Like, how do you feel about it? Right. Or when you faced with sadness, like, okay, you didn't get the promotion on your job. Right. Like, how are you really feeling? Gotcha. You feeling like you should just go in the job and destroy it? Right. You want to kill the manager? Ooh. You get what I'm saying? These are things that we should be able to just express. Yes. You get what I'm saying? These are the things we like when we're faced with being fired. Thank you. You get what I'm saying? The lights being off. Right. A tire. Because some people get upset about a whole tire. They could hit the car. The car ain't even do nothing to them. The tire just bust because of a nail. And or materialistic things. Okay. Losing it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I lost my ring, one of my rings, and I was upset. But I ain't act all, crazy.
Go, thank you.
But I was looking for that thing.
You were looking for it? It's okay to look for it, but don't act crazy.
Right. And then my significant other, she'll look at me and be like, why you handle that so well? Like, if it was me, I would have. Because it's materialistic. You start reasoning. Gotcha. With the situation, and people start to see it. All right. So how you feel about that, T?
That was a lot.
I know.
So I feel like you spoken for the both of us in that segment. And guess what? I ain't mad at you. Like, listen, did you see me cut you off? No. I was like, let him bring it, because you was bringing it. Okay. Okay. So
because I
love it.
This is one of the things that when you think about like knowing yourself. Yes. Like, do you really know yourself?
Do you really know yourself? Let's just ask them that. I want everyone to really just be honest in this hot 5 seconds. Do you know yourself?
Do you? All right.
Okay, and hopefully, they just be honest.
Right, let's drop a gem for the honesty, right?
Only for the honesty. Right. All right, come on now. So, it's just, this is why we're here.
Right, so do you know how to face these different, let's say, mirrors within this room? Yes. You get what I'm saying? Yes. When you're faced with that situation.
Yes. And nothing is perfect, because no one is perfect, right? But I'm in a place of peace to where I have this armor over me, and whatever obstacles might come my way, I know it's gonna just slide right off. I just know God go figure it out. Guess what? I'm not stressing. Okay, I need to not stress because tomorrow not here yet. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Guess what? The future is not here yet. So why am I stressing for something I don't have no control because it's not even here yet?
I like that.
You get it? So I'm learning myself to be like, you know what? Let's worry about today. And I might have a calendar. Everyone knows I love my calendar. You know, plug it in, but it still can be adjusted because the day is not there yet.
Right.
It's just a little outline, a little rough draft of how your day might be.
Right.
That's why I love my calendar.
Right.
So getting to know yourself, I love it. I love this stage because this is why I want to embrace it, because I feel that it's needed. And that's why we're here to help build those healthy relationships.
Right. I like that idea. Write it down and make it plain.
Hello.
That's actually a scripture.
Yes.
Write it down and make it plain.
Right.
So,
hey.
so we still can plan. You can plan for the future.
Yeah.
But just live for today.
Live for today.
I love it.
And don't stress. And do it with a smile.
I think that's a hard cookie to not stress, because there are several, let's say, discrepancies that can happen to cause a person to stress, right? So the lack of money,
right?
You get what I'm saying? Maybe just the lack of attention, the self-confidence and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we stress over things that are really like small, because we only think that we're the only ones that's dealing with this by ourselves.
No.
But then when we realize that, or when you know you have a supporting cast.
Okay.
That's why I believe in relationships.
All right.
So when you have a supporting cast, you can overcome it.
Yes.
You know, but when you are island by yourself.
No, you hurting yourself.
Exactly.
Like you hurting your soul. Like you really hurting your soul. And so I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have one that's a good question.
Okay.
Right. And I think about it on a personal level. Do your kids, or would your kids want to be you?
Can I answer that?
You can.
I want to say no.
Oh my gosh. I didn't want you to answer it that quick though.
Okay, my bad.
But when you start to self-evaluate and you overlook your life at the point that you're in, do you say, well, my kids will be proud of me or want to be like me?
I want to say, because there's always room for improvement. So overall, like the values that I have, yes, they will be like me, because I'm still trying to implement the values that I believe in.
But what they say at that point, this point right now, in this moment,
all right?
Because we're not talking about what you can become, because that's not there yet.
Right.
But right now in this moment,
Gotcha.
Would your child say, hey, Mom, I want to be just like you, not you per se, right? But you can put yourself in those shoes.
It's a higher percentage. It's not fully 100%. Even for my own personal, if I would ask my kids, it wouldn't be 100%, but it'll still be in the range of 80 to 90%.
Right. So when you ask this question, right, that self-evaluation kicks in real quick, because you're like, man, I can adjust this. I need to adjust that. I need to do this.
Love it.
This is when you start to feel like, you know what, I need to do better.
Exactly. Didn't I say that 80, 90%?
Right. Okay, I need to do better right
I'm
now.
I'm going to be real now.
Because, dang, my child. And what if your child, because let me take it back a little bit.
All right.
So your child and their friend is sitting in the room by themselves.
A male and a female?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking.
Don't go sexual. Just follow
It
me.
was plenty of times that I was in the same room with a male friend in my high school days that we didn't do anything. That's always like
T.
male or female.
We
or
know
what?
about that. We know about that.
I'm just saying.
But friend, general.
Okay,
Just
general.
Just a general friend.
Okay, general friend.
Okay,
all right. Break it back. I know he was gonna press the goddamn button. It was just a question. Go ahead.
So the friend, your child, and their friend is in the room.
All right.
The room door is cracked.
Okay.
And all of a sudden you hear them having a conversation, and the conversation is, girl, I want to be like your mom.
Okay.
And then the daughter says, your child says, right, I don't want to be like my mom. I want to be like my auntie. In that moment,
all right,
you're gonna feel some type of way.
You're going to feel some type of way,
right?
You will,
because you're like, dang, my daughter don't
want to be like me,
right?
Yes.
And I use the daughter, right?
Okay,
because it be later on in life for a son. So
right.
But let's put the son, my son.
Okay,
I hear my son say, I don't want to be like my dad. I want to be like my uncle. And then you hear the friend say, why?
Okay.
And then they begin to name the different points of why.
Okay.
At that particular moment, you start to self-evaluate. And if you can go back in time, right, you will change things.
Wow.
Right?
I feel like you walk into the second question.
Okay. Well, that's a good segue.
Like you is stepping into the second question. Like I didn't even ask you, and you're actually walking in it. Can I just tell them what the second question is, and you can just keep adding?
Let me finish because then we can expound on it.
Go ahead.
So now you start saying, you know what? I could have did this a little bit different. I should have did this a little bit different. So that's the reason why I asked that question.
Yes.
Because we can take that moment right now.
Okay.
This present time.
Right.
Whatever age.
Wherever we at.
Wherever we are.
We standing
to
here
tighten
right
up,
now.
To make it.
I love it.
Because the child will look at the parents and be like, yeah, I don't want to be like that.
Gotcha.
You know, or yes, I love how my dad does this. I love how my mom does this. I want to be like that. Because I think we do a lot of, as kids, we do a lot of, I don't want to.
Right.
But then we become actually like our parents.
Right.
Because those things we thought we was going to change.
Right.
Man, we ain't changed it at all.
No.
So go ahead, T.
So basically, the second question, it was basically stating like identifying problems we want to carry forward or work to change. So the patterns are either you want to carry it forward or actually work to change. And it's kind of like you already hit it nail in. Like, hey, this is what it is. And boom. You know, it's optional if you want to change or if you need to change it. So I was like, how did he know? That's all. You did it awesome. Amazing.
Thank God for that.
Okay.
But so I put down to become more aware of the relationship pattern. So this is why I believe in talking to my parents.
Okay.
To see where they was at different stages of their lives so I can know how to adjust my life.
Got you.
But then I noticed that parents don't pay attention to their own lives because they're watching other people's lives. So they can never pinpoint different obstacles that they did go through because they were so busy worried about keeping up with the Joneses, not learning how to self-evaluate and self-take care of their mental, physical, emotional, you get what I'm saying, attributes to help their kids later on. Because everything you're doing now, you're trying to show that little like directory for your kids.
Yes.
And also in your relationship.
In your relationship.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I put far as the first one. The second one is to reflect on your own behavior. You get what I'm saying? So that's how we can try to change to become better. The third one is to heal the underlying traumas. And I know you mentioned that before.
All right.
So how you feel about that one?
So for the underlying trauma, I feel that
because you mentioned that, you was like,
it was just, we all need the help. Like, it's therapists, it's all these specialists out there to where any trauma that you're been through, 2021, I'm sure it's some form of help out there.
I believe that.
Okay, so I don't want to say it's no excuse to get stuck there in that trauma, because it's more extreme trauma than others.
Yes.
But I want people to acknowledge it, be aware of the trauma, and really act on it. Like starting now, like before the new year, before the new year start, I feel that we need to work on ourselves now. And in the process of it, if you're in a relationship, I think it's the conversations that you need to sit down and have with your significant other. You don't have to go through this by yourself.
Exactly.
You know, and I want people to understand that life, we don't live by ourselves. I don't think that's normal.
Right.
You know, each his own, no judgment, but it's like we're just bringing awareness in for conversations like this to where, you know what? I'm not ready for a healthy relationship because I'm still working on myself. And so it's just, we just bringing it to the table.
I think this one, knowing yourself, is more intimate. So it won't be so much connected to my mate, but to the next relationship, which is important, which is the kids.
Right. And
you get what I'm saying?
We're like they're milking everything
from
do.
the time like I'm telling you, like,
oh my goodness,
when I talk to my son and I say Lord's willing, after I said he says his line and then he says Lord's willing.
Yes.
You know, because he's trying to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So he's putting it, like, he's just soaking it in.
Yes.
So eventually he's just going to know how to put the piece together.
Love it.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So this type of relationship, that's why I believe you should heal from your traumas.
Right.
Because if you don't, eventually whoever surrounds you will have to deal with the repercussions.
And it's not fair.
Or the residues.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That comes with not dealing with it.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because you can say to yourself, "Oh, I'm over it."
Right.
But then a couple of instances,
it's gonna trigger it.
It spews out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And you probably wouldn't even know.
Right.
Like at all times, they don't know because it's a quick reaction.
Right.
I got you.
The fourth one is learn and practice new skills.
Okay.
So that's the mental what I want to say. That's a new way to transform out of it.
Okay.
Because now you are adopting new skills to get out of it.
All right.
And the last one, be kind to yourself, because I believe sometimes we are too rough. Because I know that's how I am.
Okay. We so hard on ourselves. Yeah. It's so hard. And I'm like, no, I'm that voice. Don't do it. No stress. No stress. That's why I'm like, what's up?
Right.
How you doing? Like, all my family fears, anyone I come encounter with, I'm the social butterfly, right? And I'm just like, no stress. Even a bartender, no stress. And she was like, I like you for the movie.
Extra shots.
Yeah, hello. Hey, she did that drink. But I get it.
That's
I love
crazy.
it. No stress, you guys. All right.
You heard me say self-awareness.
Yes.
Okay, so then I put down knowing your purpose, finding your purpose. And I think a lot of people have a hard time doing
finding their purpose and knowing their purpose.
Yes.
I feel that let me speak for myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for anyone. This is why we having conversations, right? So you
set up on that one.
Yes, I set up on this because
let me sit back on that one.
It kind of hit home because I went to my grandmother one year. I don't know if it was last year before COVID or whenever. It was sometime. And I went to my grandmother and I told her how I was crying in the shower.
Okay.
Meaning that I went to work one day and I got home. I just felt that the world does not accept us. You understand? Like, we're not wanted. we're not needed. And
Who?
so
Women?
I want to say black women.
Okay.
Okay, I'm speaking for what I've told my granny.
Okay.
And so I just felt like I'm not wanted, I'm not needed, and I feel that I'm such a punching bag that because I'm a black woman, I'm supposed to accept being a punching bag. And so I just wanted to add to that.
So I beg to differ to a certain degree.
All right.
Okay, because they push black women higher, especially over the last several years, because you have more programs promoting black women
Now.
Right.
Okay.
Well, over the years.
Yeah, over the years. You just
couple
said
of
that.
years,
you did
right?
say that.
So I say from the time we graduated high school, the acknowledgments of black women and accomplishments have been highlighted since I say 05, right?
Okay.
As I begin to look, promotions on the jobs, becoming CEOs, or any type of esteem that you can receive, black women has become that.
I agree.
Now,
I agree.
because y'all even have black women magic or something like that. Because I used to feel some type of way about
Black Girls
that.
Magic.
Black Girl Magic.
Yeah,
there you go.
it's from on BET.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's to push the women in. But I think what happens is, because you and I'm gonna say this in all respect, when women try to become men, that's when you lose your purpose as a woman, because you're being more aggressive, right? But when you play your part in your role, you begin to fulfill your purpose and find delight in it. And I think that's where it goes, because now women has to be the head of the house because the men are not there anymore.
Right.
Right. So now it's kind of like it's out of order. Since the man isn't there, now the woman has to be the mother,
Right.
the dad. I don't like that wording,
right?
But then that's what they have to do. They have to be the aggressor,
right?
The disciplinarian,
yes,
right?
So y'all want us to turn it on and off, on and off, on.
No,
and
what
off.
I'm saying is because the women has removed the men.
Gotcha. Oh, you said remove the men.
Yeah,
okay.
Basically remove them out because they out of the house now, right?
Gotcha.
Because you got Section 8 and all that stuff.
Yeah, who?
Section 8 and all that.
Oh, okay.
You may not be on it, but I'm saying
I got you.
The man has been removed from the house.
Okay.
So now women have to play, let's say, 3 parts: the male, the female, the male, and then they have to also try to be the friend as well, because they don't want to lose their kids when they get older.
Right.
Right.
I got you.
So when that happens, you start to like dangle too much. Right.
All right.
And then you begin to lose balance. And there's no, it becomes, I don't want to say no substance, but it's no purpose because you're all over the place.
Right.
I think a purpose is like a lane. You get what I'm saying? And then your purpose, the further along you go, the more happy you become, because you get closer to the destiny.
Right.
Right? The destination, right?
Thank you for saying that.
What
I'm
happens,
still finding my purpose.
Right. So what happens is when you lose traction of purpose, you start to waver to the left and to the right. Right. And then when you start to do that, it starts to take longer to get to your destiny.
Gotcha.
But when you start to get on the purpose,
right,
you start seeing it.
Everything so clear.
It started like when you see they say the light at the end of the
right.
tunnel.
Hey, keep walking.
Right. You start seeing it.
That was his right. That's why you was born.
Exactly.
His purpose. All right.
When the places are start to be fulfilled, the happier you become.
All right.
And I think that's when you have to realize, you know what? Let me just play my part.
Right.
Because those tears will be tears of joy. Like, man, like I'm in my place. I'm in my moment.
Right.
My kid. Like, I think about the baby boy situation.
The movie Old School Baby Boy?
Baby Boy.
Okay.
There was a scene of joy in that movie. And I always took away from that And I always said to myself, that's what I want. He wanted some tacos. She ended up fixing it.
And she fixed it. She cleaned
He
up.
got her right.
She cleaned up. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in that moment,
Right.
she was the most happy. She didn't have the Birkin.
Right.
She didn't have the Mercedes Benz. They had a
No.
Camry.
The time. They were spending time together.
Right. And that's something you couldn't take back, right?
Right.
So she cleans up.
She cleaned up.
He gets up. He comes in the kitchen. He does whatever, and then they sit down. He sits down. She brings him the tacos.
Yeah.
He sits between her legs,
And he eating them.
and he's eating them.
Yeah.
She's so fulfilled with
Right.
delight, she didn't even eat no tacos.
No, she was just rubbing his shoulders.
Rubbing his head.
Like just enjoy.
And what the kids were doing, the child was doing,
watching the TV, eating too.
or playing with the toys, if I can remember it correctly.
Right.
Right there, that scene
You're right.
is what everybody that wants a healthy relationship should
Gotcha.
aim at.
Wow.
That's the light at the end of the tunnel.
I love it. That could be our image.
Right.
I love it.
You get what I'm saying?
Thank you
so
for that.
if you don't never see the purpose, you got to create the purpose,
Right.
but you have to also fulfill the
it.
purpose.
Hello.
You get
Go
what I'm saying?
ahead, create.
So knowing that you're in place,
Right.
she was in place. She said, you know what? I submit.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he took me through, he wasn't that bad of a person.
Just he wasn't that
He
bad.
wasn't that bad of a person.
He just wasn't keeping his stuff in his pants.
He wasn't bad of a person.
He wasn't.
I'm talking about overall.
Yeah.
You can depict certain
Right.
discrepancies, right?
I
Like
got
I don't
you.
like that. You feel me? All that. You feel me?
Right.
But outside of that, he was still a good person.
Right.
And that's what brought joy. You know, in that moment or within the relationship. Now, let's say later on in life, when we look at that particular movie, later on in life, we know they got married. They done probably had another child.
Right.
And that is what we can fulfill as an individual. But just find that person.
Hello.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm going to just move on. But before I
Okay.
move on, what you got to say about that, T?
Well, just before you find that person, I guess these are the reasons why we have the necessary topics to continue to just work on ourselves.
Gotcha.
Because everything that you said is like we all need to probably, click a little reset button and then just reevaluate ourselves and kind of, let's grow from where we at in life. So I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
So
Thank
then
you.
I like this as well. Separation and meditation. So we have to learn how to separate ourselves from the world, from friends, from family. And that's the way that you evaluate. Think about it like this.
All right.
T, you're a supervisor at a job.
Okay.
It's time for evaluations.
All right.
How do you get each individual their evaluation?
Well, I guess throughout the whole year, as a supervisor or management, you're supposed to keep note of their action and keep paper trails of the, timesheets and, what they're doing more or less, and, just keep tabs of them throughout the year.
Right.
Okay.
Now, are you having a meeting with their fellow peers?
Most likely not.
Or what do you do?
Basically, just go what these papers say. Like, if I really had to do, raises at the end, whatever quarter, those papers would determine the percentage of your raise.
Right. So, but when you have the meeting with the person, are you having it in front of everybody?
No.
Or do you separate?
Separate.
Exactly.
Separate. That's personal.
Right.
It's no one's business.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, T. Keep it coming.
Okay, I was just following you.
Okay.
It's no one's business.
So it's no one's business.
Right.
To learn how to deal with different things that comes through that year.
Gotcha.
Right?
Right.
The tardiness. Did they pick up?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Did they or are they, habitual tardy? You know, do they complete the job?
Right.
Do they take the initiative?
Teamwork, all
of those factors
right,
that they should be like good at or great at or superior at, right?
Superior.
Right.
Right.
Now, when it comes down, the only way they would know is when you separate them from everybody else, and now they begin to learn about themselves right then and there.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the reason for the separation. Now, after you separate them and let them know everything,
okay,
now they need to meditate.
Get them some time to meditate.
Right.
I
So
love
when
it.
you meditate on
Right.
it, you're meditating on what? Everything you was evaluated on.
Right.
So you'll
Growth.
start, let's say you pray, right? So God, I need you to help me with this.
Okay.
You know, I need you to help me with that.
Right.
Help me to become better in this area.
Yes.
And less of me, because you got some workers, they just
Hello.
loud and out of control and crazy and all of that stuff.
Go ahead.
And then
DP.
all of a sudden,
You got this one.
then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you be like, man, like you need to work on your attitude.
What?
Put that-
What?
Supervisor Big Red,
Right. They be writing everything down, boy.
because they can walk around here thinking they all that.
Right.
But
Hello.
you help them at this point in time to meditate on how they can become better.
Hello.
And when you do that as an individual,
Right.
you could do it quarterly. You could do it every 6 months.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying? When you do that, that's how you know you're becoming better. You know what I'm saying? As an individual,
Right.
to have a better or a healthy relationship
Yes.
with the kids and also with your mate.
Right.
So what you got to say with that?
DP, you just bringing it all to. It's like, what else could I come back and add? But I guess it could be. So it was one that kind of stood out, I want to say previously for what you said. So basically, like when you're extreme, and I'm going back to the extreme of how people communicate with one another, right? So it's just, I think I said that also last recording, to where if whoever you are, I don't think we need to change anyone. So when you know yourself, I think it's okay for you to be like, you know what? This is how I am. And people need to realize if someone tells you who they are, just believe them. You understand? So when they're telling you who they are, communication and honesty, I'm always bring that back. You'll know how to handle them. You'll know how to communicate. You know how to be like, you know what? Maybe I have to distance myself from them, or you just know how to speak their language.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just knowing yourself is a key factor.
Right.
That's all we in this little closet.
Right. So even with that, because I get the point, but even with that, knowing yourself doesn't mean you have to stay like just stuck in that bubble.
No,
right?
that's why it's also, if you feel like if there's anything that you have to work on to change,
That's why
you have to
Yes.
add that.
Gotcha.
Please add that to what we're saying. So just identify what needs to change, and then actually just start and work on it.
Gotcha.
Be consistent with it.
Gotcha.
Hello.
I like that.
All right now.
So yeah, what's our last one, T? Gotta grab your phone.
I didn't know it was a third one. It was
Yeah,
a third.
yeah,
Oh,
three.
it was. Hello. I was ready for it. Okay. So number 3, understand that one's past does not define one's destiny. Do you agree or disagree? Be honest.
I am, but I want you to give your point. You want me to give my point first?
Yes, I'm asking you.
'Cause, yeah, you want me to trigger you. That's what it is.
Yes, we work together that way.
So I say yes, it does.
Okay.
Especially
All right.
especially when the person doesn't change who they are.
Okay.
The outcome will never
All right.
be different
Gotcha.
because they're doing the same
You
thing.
have to do something different to get different results.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that was real quick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't want to keep going. Because that really there is just short, like it's short ended.
Right.
You know, if you want something great, your destiny to be great, you have to do great things.
Right.
If you want your destiny to be simple, you do simple things.
Right.
If you want your destiny to go nowhere, you do nothing.
Right.
Simple.
It's just that simple.
You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
But in growth,
Right.
we understand that there's a time and season for everything. So you may have a season where you are just, let's say, not at your best. You're not on point. You're not taking advantage of the opportunity. And then there may be a season where, you know what, you snap into it.
Right.
So there's always a door of opportunity to change.
I agree.
It will happen for you to become great, regardless of what age you may be.
Hello.
But
Right.
outside of that, it's really up to you. And that's a mental thing,
I agree.
you know?
I agree.
So that's what I have with that one. What about you, T?
So my intake on it, right? So I pretty much do agree with the statement, because whatever my past is not who it's a part of me, if that makes sense. So I'm not able to just erase my past, but it allows me to be who I am. It allows me to grow. So I feel that from my earlier experience, kind of fast forward to where I need to be now. So I would kind of rather happy to where whatever my life past experience was, that I'm happy that it happened then versus now. So because now you can just a quick fast forward and just continue to grow.
Okay.
And hey.
So I got something that just came to mind.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take it here.
All right.
Your past,
All right.
which is always yesterday, right?
Okay.
So your past which is always yesterday,
Right.
can be changed at any moment. One,
Right.
which you said, but then I think about the education. People become educated, and then they think that the education is gonna better their future, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. I agree with that. Because
thought about
some
that.
people go to I don't mean to say that. I don't want to say that phrase.
Okay, so some people think that education can change their outcome to a better situation, right? So they begin to judge people based upon the possessions that they have or just some of the knowledge that they have.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
And they can miss out on good opportunities. Because I
agree.
want to take that point to make a point.
All right.
You have to understand, if you want, it's great to have your education. It's great to want and aspire great things. But you have to realize that because of our parents, I want to say,
All right.
that 9 times out of 10, we're not going to get out of that box.
The pattern.
Right.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, we're going to marry. Like, I see it like this. Let's say your dad, right?
Okay.
You're not going to marry somebody better than your dad, really.
Gotcha. So we're still looking for the same characteristics that our father has.
Right.
Right.
Now, when the dad, let's say you had a bad dad, you going to marry somebody better than him.
Right.
Right. But then you're not going to marry somebody that's too higher than him.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Now, they may have more money.
Right.
But the characteristics may not even be that great.
You're right.
You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
So I think about those things as well. Now, if you disagree, I want you to put the comment in the section,
Yes.
so we can really converse about
Right.
it. But I think that when you have the education, don't think that your education, or when you do get the job, that your destiny of being great is based upon money. Right? Because we talking about healthy relationships.
Thank you.
And I think the only way that you're going to be able to have a better tomorrow or a better destiny in relationship is to actually work on
Yourself.
and relationship.
And a relationship.
You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
So we understand you could go to school, you can have something great,
Right.
right? You can make money and you can have something great.
Right.
That's the same thing for a relationship.
Gotcha.
If you want a great relationship, you have to
be great. I like it. It's that simple.
I think so.
I think it's that simple.
I would rather work on the relationship while I go to school.
Hello. Okay.
I mean, that's just how I feel.
Okay. But with all this crazy social media and foolishness, it's like, do you feel that the negative is winning over the healthy relationships that we try to bring back and stir up and hopefully help one person, you know, to be better and build a healthy relationship? Like,
right. That's why I call for the separation. You have to separate and detox from social media.
Gotcha.
I think you should take out a couple of days, maybe a day or two, and just cut off the social media. Don't turn on the TV.
Right.
You know, and just sit there and ponder or read a book.
Read a book.
You get what I'm saying?
Read
or just go
something.
outside and sit on the patio and listen to the trees, the wind, and the traffic.
All right now.
You know, and all the the animals as well.
Right.
You know,
I do that.
You know, paint. Find a hobby outside of just looking at social media.
Right.
And I understand if that's your job, your 9 to 5 or whatever have you, but you still should be able to detox from that because you should
disconnect. You have to.
You should have a day off.
Right. Hello.
That's the only way I see it.
Thank you.
And I think that's also self-growth because I notice even with myself, well, I grab that phone and put it in my face. And sometimes I have to tell myself, put that phone down.
Put that phone down.
Enjoy yourself.
Right. I do the same thing. Like, I try to wake up, and it's really hard not to grab the phone first. But the only reason why I grab the phone... You ain't grabbing
for social media,
I'm not. I'm just looking at the time.
I know.
So, for me, I'm just like, let me just look at the time.
And then you'll realize you have more hours in a day.
Right.
You will have more time in a day.
I do.
Right.
I do, but it still feels that I don't. Even though we still all have the same 24 hours, it still feels that I don't have enough time. Right. But I got you.
So, yeah, we came today with the topic of knowing yourself.
Hello.
Realizing the fact that people have repetitive or repeating patterns from their family members.
Gotcha.
How to even identify the patterns and overcome it. And understand that one pass can either make a great or maybe a simple destiny.
I had to drop them gems to you because I felt like you just killed it. Okay, so before he was like, T, it's yours. I'm like, no, it's just ours. But DP, when he get in his mode, he bring it. You brought it. Like, you brought it. So I'm just like, I'm stuck. So when I get stuck, I be like, girl, just shut up. Like, he got it. So I just want to, drop them gems and shout out to you. So like, thank you.
But in respect to what you're saying,
right? Okay.
You the one that came up with this one. So,
I know, but it's just I don't know. Like, I think that's how we just work together.
Facts.
Like, we just work together. Like, it happens that way, and I love it.
So yeah.
Hello.
I'm your boy DP.
All right.
This is my girl T.
Hey y'all.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, and as well, right now, go ahead and like the video.
Go ahead, go like it. Just 2 seconds.
Go ahead and hit the notification button.
Just again.
Matter of fact, go ahead and like it.
Did it the little thumbs up?
Yeah.
All right. They just did it.
Okay, thank you.
So we appreciate it.
So let's drop a gem.
All right, go ahead. I got my gems.
All right.
All right.
And yes, we're Gemini Gems.
Yes.
That's Gemini with an S. Gems with a Z. And what we do, T?
Hey, y'all, we dropped them gems.
We dropped them gems.
We gonna do it again and another one and another one and another one. Okay.
All right, y'all.
All right, bye.